Hi children, welcome back to social science class. So we already took some portion of geography, second chapter, physical divisions of India, isn't it? Okay, so today we have to start next portion. So let us start today's topic. So today's topic is first physical feature we already discussed, it is northern mountains. So today we can start northern plains, okay. Yes, which type of land is called plains? Flat and fertile land. Plains are flat and fertile. Flat and fertile lands are called plains. Yes, we already located where is northern plains on physical map of India, right? Where is northern plains located? Northern plains are located on the south of northern mountain, isn't it? Okay, then plains, these northern plains are divided into three river system. Which are the three river system? First one is Indus River, second one is Ganga river, and third one is Brahmaputra river. Okay, so northern plains are divided into three river system. First one is Indus river, second one is Ganga river, and third one is Brahmaputra river. Brahmaputra river. These northern plains are formed by alluvium. The rivers that originate from Himalaya deposit alluvium on the foothills of the Himalaya over millions of years, and it forms plains. Okay, then it spread over the area of more than 7 lakh square kilometer. The plain being about 2,400 kilometer long and 240 to 320 kilometer broad. It is densely populated physiographic division, and it is one of the agriculturally productive area of India. That means it is because of soil is very fertile and climate is suitable for agriculture. So we know these two things are needed for agriculture, right? Okay, so I hope everybody understood about northern plains. Okay, the rivers in their lower course split into numerous channels due to the deposition of silt. These channels are known as distributaries. Northern plains are divided into different sections. The western part of northern plains are called Punjab plains. It's formed by the river Indus and its tributaries. So the western part of northern plains are called Punjab plain. It is formed by the river Indus and its tributaries. So I think everybody got the idea about Punjab plains. Okay, then next we can discuss about Ganga plain. Okay, how the Ganga plains extend? It extends between Gagar and Tista rivers. It extends between Gagar and Tista rivers. It spread over the states of North India like Delhi, Haryana, partly Jharkhand, eastern part of West Bengal, etc. Then particularly Assam lies in the Brahmaputra basin. Northern plains are generally described as flat land with no variations in its relief features, but it is not true, because according to the basis of variations in relief features, northern plains are divided into 4. So we are telling it is plain land, right? But there is some variations in its relief features. According to the variations in relief features, northern plains are divided into 4. Okay, which are the 4? First one is Babar. Second one is Bangar. Third one is Kangar. And fourth one is Khadar. Okay, northern plains are divided into 4 regions. They are Babar, Bangar, Kangar and Khadar. Babar means the rivers after descending from mountains deposit pebbles in a narrow belt of about 8 to 16 kilometer in width, lying parallel to the slope of Shivalik. It is known as Babar. Got it? Okay. Then all the streams disappear in the Babar belt. The south of this Babar belt, the rivers and streams re-emerge and create a wet, marshy and swampy land. It is called terrai. Okay. Then these areas are very thickly forested region with full of wildlife. So I think everybody understood what is Babar. Okay. So next we can discuss what is Bengal. The largest part of the northern plains is formed of older alluvium. They lie above the floodplains of the rivers and present a terrace-like feature. This part is known as Bangar. So what is Bangar? The largest part of the northern plains are formed by alluvium, older alluvium. They lie above the floodplains of the rivers and present a terrace-like feature. This area, this part is called Bangar. Okay. Next one is Kangar. The soil in this region contains calcareous deposit locally known as Kangar. So what is Kangar? The soil in this region contain calcareous deposits locally. It is locally known as Kangar. Okay. So that is Kangar. Next one is Kadar. The newer and younger deposits of the floodplains are called Kadar. The newer and younger deposits of floodplains are called Kadar. So I think everybody understood this four: Babar, Bangar, Kangar and Kadar. These are the divisions of plains on the basis of its relief features. So I think everybody understood about northern plains. Okay, next we can discuss about peninsular plateau. So next physical division is peninsular plateau. So which type of land is called plateau? Plateaus are just like a mountain. It is like a mountain, but the top is flat like a table. So it is called tableland. Okay. So plateaus are composed of the old crystalline, igneous and metamorphic rocks. It is formed due to the breaking and drifting of Gondwana land, and so it is called the oldest landmass of India. Peninsular plateaus are again has two divisions, that are Central Highlands. Peninsular plateau is divided into two, that is Central Highlands and Deccan Plateau. First one is Central Highlands and second one is Deccan Plateau. So first we can discuss about Central Highlands. What is Central Highlands? Okay, plateaus are divided into two, that is Central Highlands and Deccan Plateau. So first is Central Highlands. So the part of Peninsular Plateau lying to the north of Narmada River, covering a major area of Malwa Plateau, is known as Central Highlands. Got it? Okay. The Vindhyan range is bounded by the Central Highlands on the south and Aravallis on the northwest. So Vindhyan range and Aravalli ranges are surrounded by these Central Highlands. Okay. Then the eastward extension of Central Highlands are called Badelkhand and Bagelkhand. Okay, these are the two extension, easternward extension. Then one more plateau is there, that is Chota Nagpur Plateau, that marks the extension drained by the Damodar River. It also easternward extension of the Central Highland. Okay, so I think everybody understood about Central Highlands. Then we can go take Deccan Plateau. Then next we can discuss about Deccan Plateau. So second one is Deccan Plateau. So plateau is a tableland, we already discussed, right? Then what is Deccan Plateau? Deccan Plateau is a triangular landmass that lies to the south of the river Narmada. Okay, so we studied Central Highlands are in the north of Narmada River, but Deccan Plateau is in the south of the Narmada River, and the Satpura ranges flanks its broad base in the north, while Mahadev Kaimur and Michael range form in the eastern extensions of the Deccan Plateau. Okay, Deccan Plateau is higher in the west. Deccan Plateau is higher in the west and slopes gently eastwards. That means we know the rivers that originated from plateaus, you know, it is flowing into east. That means it flow into the Bay of Bengal. It is because of the slope of Deccan Plateau. Got it? Okay. An extension of plateau is also visible in the northeast, locally known as Meghalaya, Karbi, Anglong Plateau and North Kachar Hills. These are the another hills, and some of another prominent hill ranges from the west to east are Garo, Khasi and Jaintia hills. Next we can discuss the two edges of Deccan Plateau. It is very important and you have to study well, because most of the exam I saw this question, so you have to study it properly. Okay, so the two edges of this Deccan Plateaus are known as Western Ghat and Eastern Ghat. So next topic is Western Ghat and Eastern Ghat. And Eastern Ghat. Next topic is Western Ghat and Eastern Ghat. Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats are the two edges of Deccan Plateau. Western Ghat and Eastern Ghats are the two edges of Deccan Plateau. So western edge is called Western Ghat and eastern edge is called Eastern Ghat. Got it? Eastern edge is called Eastern Ghat and western edge is called Western Ghat. Then Western Ghat is parallel to the western coastal plains. Western Ghats are parallel to the western coastal plains and Eastern Ghats are parallel to the eastern coastal plains. Okay, then now we can discuss about Western Ghat first. Okay, so Western Ghats are higher than Eastern Ghat. Western Ghats are higher than Eastern Ghat. So first one, it is higher than Eastern Ghat. Then it spread over the area. That means how much is the elevation of this Eastern Ghat. Western Ghat means it is 900, average elevation is 900 to 1600 meter. Average elevation of the Western Ghat is 900 to 1600 meter. That means it is 600 meter more than Eastern Ghat. Got it? Then Eastern Ghats stretches from Mahanadi Valley to Nilagiri Hills. Eastern Ghats stretches from Mahanadi Valley to Nilagiri Hills. And Western Ghat stretches from Tapi River to Kanyakumari. Okay, Western Ghats are the continuous stretches of hills. Western Ghats are the continuous. We can cross. It can cross only through passes. Okay, so it is continuous and it can only cross through passes. It is continuous hills and it can only cross through passes. But Eastern Ghats are discontinuous, irregular and dissected by rivers draining into the Bay of Bengal. Okay, Western Ghats is continuous but Eastern Ghats are discontinuous. It is discontinuous, irregular and dissected by the rivers draining into Bay of Bengal. That means Western Ghat is continuous hills but Eastern Ghats is broken by some rivers. That is why it is not continuous, it is discontinuous. Okay. Western Ghats are known different local names. The height of the Western Ghats progressively increase from north to south. The highest peak in Western Ghats are Anamudi and Doda Beta. So highest peak in Western Ghats are Anamudi and Doda Beta. Doda Beta are the highest peak in Western Ghats, and highest peak in Eastern Ghats is Mahendragiri. Highest peak in Eastern Ghats is Mahendragiri. So these are the peaks situated in these two hills. Okay, so Western Ghats is higher than Eastern Ghats, and its average elevation is 900 to 1600 meter, and it stretches Tapi river to Kanyakumari, and it is a continuous hills, and it can only cross through passes. Okay, Anamudi and Doda Beta are some of the peaks situated in Western Ghats. Then Eastern Ghats stretches from Mahanadi Valley to Nilagiri hills, and it is discontinuous and irregular. Okay, then Mahendragiri is the longest peak in Eastern Ghats. Okay. So I think everybody got an idea about Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats. Then Western Ghats is very fertile. We can say one more difference. It is very fertile. But comparing to Western Ghats, Eastern Ghats is not that much fertile. Not fertile. Comparing to Western Ghats. Okay, it is not fertile. Then which are the states this Western Ghats cover? Yes, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Goa, Maharashtra, Gujarat. These are the states this Western Ghats is extended. Then which are the states extended in Eastern Ghats? Yes, Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, West Bengal, then some part of Karnataka and Tamil Nadu are the states. Then we can see here Western Ghats start from here to Gujarat. Okay. Then here it is Andhra Pradesh, then some part of Karnataka, Tamil Nadu and Odisha, West Bengal. These are the states this Eastern Ghats is extended. Okay. Then next we have to study what is Deccan Trap. One of the distinct features of the peninsular plateau is the black soil area, that is known as Deccan Trap. Deccan Trap. Deccan Trap. What is Deccan Trap? It is one of the distinct features of peninsular plateau. That means it is the area found black soil, that is known as Deccan Plateau. One of the distinct features of peninsular plateau is the black soil area, that is known as Deccan Trap. This is because of the volcanic origin. So here there is igneous rocks are found. These rocks are responsible for the formation of the soil, the black soil. So these black soils are formed by these igneous rocks. Okay. Then the Aravalli hills lie on the western and northwestern margins of the peninsular plateau. So Aravalli hills lie on the western and northwestern margins of the peninsular plateau. They extend from Gujarat to Delhi in the southwest and northwest direction. It extends from Gujarat to Delhi in the southwest and northwest direction. So this much only you have to study about peninsular plateau. Okay. Then now I have to give you some additional information about Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats. So I already told which are the states this Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats extended. That I no need to say, I think. Then it is a UNESCO World Heritage Site in India. Some of the rivers that originate from Western Ghats are Krishna, Godavari, Kaveri and Tungabhadra. These are some rivers that originate from Western Ghat. Okay. Then Parambikulam, Malambuzha, Idukki are the some dams situated here. Then the government started many committees to protect this Western Ghat. These are some of the committees of these are Mahadev Gadkil Committee, Kasturi Rangan Committee, Women Committee. These are the some committees made by the government for protecting the Western Ghat. Then Eastern Ghat also I told some of the states that extended. Western Ghat get heavy rainfall because from the monsoon rain, it get rain from the monsoon from Arabian Sea, and but Eastern Ghat will not get that much rain because it get monsoon from Bay of Bengal, and it is Western Ghat is very fertile comparing to Eastern Ghat. The rice, spices, rubber, coconut, cashew nut, these are the some crops grow in the Western Ghat, and some of the crops grow in the Eastern Ghat are groundnut, cotton, tobacco, coconut, etc. So these are the some idea you should know about Western Ghat and Eastern Ghat. I hope everybody understood today's class. So some home assignment I have to give to you that I will send through groups. Okay. So everybody do your works regularly. You don't keep it for next day. If you keep it for next day, it will be burden to you. Okay. So I think everybody got the idea about two physical divisions we discussed today. So we will meet in the next class. Bye.